Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Chris 6 Sunrise.
Yes, here's a look at what stories we're covering this hour in your neighborhood.
STAR testing still stands. I'm Tyrese Boone on the South Side with an update on a bill to remove STAR testing and the thoughts of educators.
People in Port Aransas are mourning another loss in their community. I'm Erin Holly in Port Aransas with the details on the death of a Port Aransas high school student.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. Thank you so much for waking up with the Hoffmans. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman. Happy to have Miss Michelle back.
Oh.
I feel whole again. And hey, the entire show feels whole again, too, because we also have our master meteorologist, Stephanie.
Good morning.
Morning, Steph. How are the roads looking so far if people are just heading out those doors?
You know, not too bad. You're going to need to run that AC, probably team windows up, but so far we're doing okay out on the roadways. It's very humid, but our visibility isn't looking too bad. Overall, just seeing those visibility restrictions in Alice. So as you're traveling along 281, expect to give yourself a little bit of extra travel time through Alice and along Highway 44 too if you're coming in from east or west. But most other places looking just peachy this morning. So let's get to those roadways now. We're looking great between Portland and downtown Corpus Christi. No slowdowns to report. If you're taking the crosstown up to 37, don't expect any delays. We're not seeing them just yet, but we're looking good across 44 and 37 this way. Across Corpus Christi proper, all the major thoroughfares are looking good. And we've had a pretty good start for those who are heading to NAS Corpus Christi this morning. Speeds now around 16 miles per hour, so we're slowing down a little bit, but overall not too bad. The rest of the bluff is looking like an easy ride, as is that commute out to the island along the JFK Causeway, where if you're catching 361 up Mustang Island, we are all clear here across the board. So as you head out, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. More on this afternoon's hot weather ahead.
Thanks, Steph. So we're going to get to your neighborhood news in just a bit, folks. But first, we have some national headlines to get to. President Donald Trump's fight to fire federal employees is back at the Supreme Court. Administration officials have filed an emergency appeal to reverse a lower court's order. Last week's order blocked the administration's sweeping layoffs and major reorganization efforts over at multiple different federal agencies. More than a dozen unions, nonprofits, and local governments are behind the lawsuit. Scripps News Group Joe St. George is going to be joining us at 6:20 with the latest from Washington.
Back here in the Lone Star State, a bill known as the Parental Bill of Rights has made its way to Governor Greg Abbott's desk. It focuses on giving parents more authority over what their children have access to while in school. The bill also targets discussions around gender and sexual identity, banning those types of clubs in schools. Neighborhood News reporter Adam Beam spoke with one local advocate who says it could pose a risk to Coastal Bend students.
For them not having that kind of resource, it's going to just bring a lot more probably angst and, like I said, mental health issues to them.
Now, if signed, Senate Bill 12 will go into effect September 1st.
I'm Tyrese Boone, your neighborhood news reporter on the South Side. Texas lawmakers failed to pass a bill that would remove STAR testing from schools. I'm speaking with the educator about how she says schools and staff in the Coastal Bend will be impacted. A legislative effort to scrap the STAR test died in the last days of the legislative session in Texas. House Bill 4 would have swapped the state of Texas assessments of academic readiness tests for 3 shorter tests given throughout the school year. Many educators, including Nancy Vera with the Corpus Christi American Federation of Teachers, were disappointed with the news.
It's a travesty, actually.
She believes standardized testing takes away students' main focus in school.
And that's a problem, because if we're testing, when are the students going to be learning? They're not.
Taking a toll not only on students and teachers, but school districts as a whole.
The teachers are graded, the school districts are graded, and funding is sometimes tied to these standardized test scores.
As the STAR curriculum continues to move forward, Vera says it's up to neighbors and educators to speak up for their students.
I don't want my child to undergo this kind of stress and anxiety because of the test. So parents need to voice their concerns about this and say, no more. Enough is enough.
Nancy Vera tells me she and others plan to continue this conversation and lobby against the STAR test. On the South Side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tyrese Boone, Chris 6 News.
I'm Erin Holly, your neighborhood news reporter in Port Aransas, talking to people grieving the loss of Byron Davis. Port Aransas Police Chief James Stokes is talking about the death of 17-year-old Byron Davis. Investigators say a pickup truck Byron was driving left the road and hit a building near East Cotter and Tarrant Avenues. Classmates, parents, and others in the community gathered Sunday night for a prayer service in his memory. Byron's death marks the third death of a Port Aransas local in the past month. Port Aransas ISD has counselors available for any students who are grieving and want to talk to someone.
Hey there, good morning. A beautiful view from our studio Skycam. Notice those clouds moving pretty quickly. That is our sign that things are windy, at least a couple hundred feet above us. But here along the waterways or neighborhoods that are near the water, like downtown Corpus Christi, look at those beautiful Texas flags atop the towers on Shoreline. That is how you know we are seeing some wind up there. But here at the ground level, some neighborhoods are breezier than others. That is going to change after sunrise. Once the sun fully emerges over the horizon, we're going to see mixing between the winds here at the ground level and these faster winds that are really pushing these clouds across on the water sky cam. Here's a wide view for yourself. Beautiful morning, at least as far as the colors in the sky are going, and we don't have any kind of haze or humidity obscuring the view here, but it is a humid start. Definitely an air you can wear kind of morning, and we are going to take this into the afternoon with some heat to talk about. It's already a warm start with 80s for a lot of neighborhoods. Where we don't see the 80s, we have the upper 70s. So thank goodness we have that breeze, but it is adding to the problem. Southeast winds bring us heat and humidity. That's the influence we see here for our morning. And it's in every neighborhood. Let's show you the contrast with Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network. We're looking at 80s along some of our coastal neighborhoods and even up in Beeville where we don't have 80s. Those middle to upper 70s are feeling very humid to start the morning out, especially since winds are a bit lighter there. So as we go through the next couple of hours, here's what you can expect. Temperatures in Corpus Christi are going to rise to the lower 90s by lunchtime. A mix of sun and clouds are not going to do much to help when we have very humid conditions well into the afternoon. So it is definitely going to be feeling hot. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Take those breaks in the AC and check in on kids, pets, and the elderly. They are more susceptible to heat-related illness, and it's something we'll be talking about over the next couple of days because, as you see here, Muggy Meter is unrelenting through the weekend. So heat risk today, for most of us in the orange, that's going to be moderate, 2 out of 4. But there are some areas inland that will see a 3 out of 4. Major heat risk shown there in red, and it's something we'll experience as we go forward because look at the 7-day forecast for our neighbors in Rockport and Kingsville. Kingsville, you're looking at 100 for an afternoon high temperature on Sunday and Monday.
Well, the U.S. Army plans to phase out Black Hawk helicopters. Coming up on Sunrise, how their phase out could impact Corpus Christi Army Depot.
Welcome back, folks. The man accused of an anti-Semitic attack in Boulder appeared in court yesterday. Mohammed Sabri Solomon faces a federal hate crime charge, as well as multiple state felony charges, including 16 counts of attempted murder. At least 12 people were injured when Solomon allegedly used a flamethrower and Molotov cocktails to set people on fire at an event in support of the hostages in Gaza on Sunday. He did not enter a plea during Monday's hearing. His bail is set at $10 million. Solomon will return to court Thursday for the filing of state charges, and the Department of Homeland Security says Solomon was in the country illegally after his visa expired in 2023. Law enforcement sources say he's an Egyptian national.
Well, Jonathan Joss Gonzalez, he's the actor known for his role in King of the Hill. He was shot and killed over the weekend in San Antonio. Now, San Antonio police say that they found Gonzalez near the roadway Sunday night. They tried to save his life, but were unsuccessful. Police have arrested Sigfredo Alvarez, who has since been booked for murder. Now, they believe that the shooting stems from a dispute between the two neighbors.
Here in your neighborhood, the Aransas Pass police need your help finding a missing person. 38-year-old Jennifer Marie Lopez was last seen at the Aransas Pass High School graduation ceremony on May 23rd, and Jennifer may be in the company of this man right here, 55-year-old Larry Ortiz Lopez. It is possible the two are in the Houston area, and if you have any information on Jennifer's whereabouts, you're asked to call the Aransas Pass Police Department at 361-758-5224 or Tri-County Crime Stoppers at 758-8477.
Well, Congressman Michael Cloud was a guest speaker over at the luncheon hosted by the United Corpus Christi Chamber of Commerce. The District 27 congressman spoke about the ongoing effort to pass President Trump's tax and spending bill. Now, we spoke with the congressman about the U.S. Army's plans to phase out Black Hawk helicopters. You see, Black Hawk helicopters are serviced right here at the Corpus Christi Army Depot. We asked Cloud how their phase out could impact the depot itself.
And so, again, the future of our Army warfare is changing. And so the generals at the Pentagon are kind of still figuring that out. And downstream from that, of course, will be what happens with CCAT and what platforms we're able to service here.
Yeah, the Army plans to replace Black Hawk helicopters with a new tilt-rotor aircraft. The fleet of new aircraft is expected to enter service by 2030. Black Hawks will be phased out slowly.
Now, the Ship Channel Improvement Project is complete, and the Port of Corpus Christi is now the deepest draft port across the entire Gulf. The Ship Channel was 47 feet deep, and now it's 57 feet deep, extending about 30 miles. It's also now 535 feet wide. It was a project 35 years in the making, and the work actually took 7 years to complete.
Hey there, good morning. Another view from the downtown studio. Skycam shows those beautiful clouds looking like a monochromatic blue here, very beautiful. And we're seeing those clouds moving pretty fast. In fact, if we look from the Skycam here behind me, we can see those clouds really moving quickly and a couple of birds looking for breakfast. This gives us a nice little expectation of what is to come. Not only do we get to enjoy this golden hour, but we can also see those glowing lights, including those new ones atop the new Harbor Bridge. It's a humid air you can wear kind of morning, but as we get past sunrise and the winds begin to mix here at the ground level with those stronger winds above, it's going to be a breezy day, and it already is for a lot of our coastal neighbors. Those who are closer to bodies of water have been seeing wind speeds hanging out near 15 to 20 miles per hour, 15-mile-per-hour wind speed from the southeast in Port Aransas, just over 10 in Rockport, 17 in the Bluff at NAS Corpus Christi, and 10 miles per hour down in Hebbronville. Even though we're not that close to the coast, see shaking and moving, and that's what's keeping our visibility on the up and up so far today. So what are we looking at for those wind gusts later today? It is going to be a breezy one. Gusts will stay around 25 miles per hour, so not very disrespectful winds, but you'll definitely notice a breeze. That could help because it's going to be a hot one today. Not only are the actual air temperatures warm, even for this time of the year, we're in June, meteorological summer is here, but you know what? Factor in the humidity and those temperatures that are just a few degrees warmer than they typically would be for this time of the year. Feel a whole lot warmer than they would for this time of the year. We will feel like the 100s for the early afternoon hours. So heat risk, of course, first thing that comes to mind. Moderate heat risk for most of us. Inland neighbors will see a major heat risk. That's a 3 out of 4. So make sure you're checking on kids, pets, and the elderly. They're more susceptible to heat-related illness. But here are a few quick tips to help you beat the heat. Of course, stay in the AC as much as possible. If you work outdoors, hop in the work truck, run the AC for a few minutes to cool down. Stay hydrated and eat light meals more frequently. That'll help your body stay on top of things. Set those ceiling fans to rotate counterclockwise. Keep the curtains and blinds closed. That'll keep your power bill down too. And wear lightweight clothing that is light in color. It'll help you stay cool in this summer heat. But how long is this going to stick around? Is it going to get better or worse as we head on into the upcoming weekend? I'll break it all down for you coming up in your 7-day forecast ahead.
President Donald Trump's fight to fire federal employees is back at the Supreme Court. Coming up on Sunrise, we get the latest from Scripps News Group Joe St. George in Washington. Welcome back, folks. It is 6:20 on your Tuesday morning, and we're taking a quick look at our sky cam. What a beautiful Taco Tuesday we have for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be checking in with master meteorologist Stephanie Lauber in just a bit. She's a look at the forecast and the roads this morning.
But first, we head to Washington. So the work of DOGE and the downsizing of the federal government continues. And yesterday, the president and his administration filed an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court, attempting to reverse a lower court's ruling barring him from some of the sweeping layoffs.
That's right. Scripps News Group Deputy Political Director Joe St. George joins us live to talk about all of this. Hey, good morning, Joe. Good to see you, sir. Can you explain to our viewers this morning if President Trump is expected to win at the Supreme Court or win by having Congress structure some of DOGE's work?
Well, let's start by saying, it's been a minute since we've been focused that heavily on DOGE. I mean, you guys, we were talking, it seemed, every day in late January, early February about the Department of Government Efficiency doing this, Elon Musk doing that. Well, Elon Musk has exited stage right. He's not the face of DOGE anymore. Yes, he's still involved a bit in Trump world, but it's received a little bit less media attention as a result. Bottom line, even though Musk has exited the stage, the work of DOGE continues, and the philosophical belief of the Trump White House to downsize the federal government by any means possible, that effort is continuing as well. And we've had developments, two big developments in the last 24 hours. Development number one is what you mentioned at the top there, the Supreme Court. The Trump administration, lawyers for the Trump administration going to the highest court in the land and asking them to intervene. There has been a lower court ruling out of California that has essentially curtailed, limited, stopped President Trump from restructuring the federal government going forward. Remember, there are over 100,000, some estimates north of 130,000 federal government employees in Texas. This isn't a D.C. story. These are numbers in Texas. There are federal government workers all over this country wondering, wait a minute, is that employee that I used to work with, are they fired or are they not fired? That one colleague of mine that took the deferred resignation program, is that happening or not? I mean, there's been a number of questions amongst federal workers about the extent of DOGE. What the Supreme Court ultimately decides here will impact that. The plaintiffs, those who have sued the Trump administration, blocking President Trump's authority on this issue, they have a week to respond to the Trump administration request. So we're not going to get an immediate ruling out of the Supreme Court here, but I expect them to eventually take this up. And development number two in the last 24 hours is we could get as early as today, the first of what we expect to be many rescissions packages from the Trump White House. This is an attempt to codify into law some of the cuts that DOGE has made, put it in statute, make it legally sound. One of the first programs, agencies that was really gutted significantly by Elon Musk and DOGE was USAID. We expect that to be part of the first of many rescissions package heading up Pennsylvania Avenue from the White House to Congress, and Republican Speaker of the House Mike Johnson has said he would like to vote on that as quickly as possible. So guys, Musk may be gone, but don't think DOGE is over. There's still millions of federal workers in this country wondering what may be next here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Joe, for following this.
Oh, we appreciate your insight as always. Looking forward to talking again soon.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Tuesday. We are looking at a beautiful view from the CCAC camera out at Snoopy's, where here we can't see those clouds moving as quickly, but let me tell you, it's a breezy start here along the coast. You can see the texture on the water. That tells you we got some wind going, and it's going to be a breezy day for all of us, even if it's not in your neighborhood just yet. Wait for that sun to rise. That will get mixing from what's happening at the ground level to the stronger winds up above us. But windy or not, we are looking at a very warm morning across all of our neighborhoods here in the coastal bend, even by June standards. Have the wide view for yourself. We're looking at lower 80s along our coastal neighborhoods that already feel like the upper 80s or near 90 degrees in the case of Naval Air Station Corpus Christi, that's in the Bluff, Port Aransas, and almost there in Rockport where it feels like 89 degrees. But even for the inland neighborhoods where we're hanging out in those upper 70s and it's a little more true to temperature, places like George West, 78 degrees feeling like 81, it is an air you can wear start to the day. So who's to blame for this? All the water in the air. Our dew point temperatures help us understand that measurement. And so we look for two things on this map. One, oppressive humidity because these dew points are in the 70s. The second thing, these numbers look a lot like the actual air temperatures I just showed you, don't they? That tells us we've pretty much filled up all the room in the air that we have for water with this humidity, and so that is why it feels a bit uncomfortable and muggy as you head out the door. But as we get into the afternoon, that muggy feeling is going to translate to heat, and what's going to provide that ample humidity is the southeast wind. This is our normal wind direction. It's an onshore wind direction for most of us, but even as these winds pick up today, might offer a little bit of relief to get that air moving at least, but it is keeping things humid here throughout the rest of the week. So don't count on that wind being overly disrespectful, but those gusts will be around 25, close to 30 miles per hour today. So for the long-haired friends, you might want to tie up a ponytail for today. But as we go hour by hour, again, that wind is going to be pretty consistent. As our temperatures rise to the upper 80s before lunchtime, we'll be in those lower to middle 90s for a lot of neighborhoods when we top out with the afternoon high temperature. This doesn't tell you the whole story, though. We need to add about 5 to 10 degrees to these numbers because that's how that humidity is going to impact your body. You're going to perceive a temperature that is 5 to 10 degrees warmer than this right here, especially with that mix of sun and clouds. It's going to be feeling very summer-like out there. While our temperatures are warm for June, that humidity makes it feel more like August outside, and we are just getting started here with the month. So heat risk stays top of mind. Most of us going to see a 2 out of 4 moderate heat risk shown here in orange. Inland counties have that 3 out of 4 major heat risk, and it's something I'll be watching as we head on into tomorrow and the day after too. Something else we could use some help with, rainfall. And while we don't have any here locally in the forecast, the tippy top of the watershed could get a little bit of rain here as we head into the middle of the week. So that could at least provide some assistance to us, but don't count on any here at the ground level. And it's not going to wipe much color off this map. We need a lot of heavy rainfall to do that over the course of this summer. Hopefully we get it. We'll keep those fingers crossed. But hope you enjoy the rain that we had last week, because this week we're not really looking at a whole lot of hope for rainfall. So it's just going to be a hot one for our neighbors in Rockport and Kingsville. Kingsville especially will be looking at 100 degrees for that actual high temperature heading into next week. And for us here in Corpus Christi, it'll be a little cooler, but still feeling like the triple digits.
Summer break is here. I'm Stephanie Molina in Robstown with ideas for what you can do during this break here at the Nueces County Library.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
Hey, good morning, Corpus Christi. I am Nueces County Sheriff J.C. Hooper. I'm in Robstown, Texas this morning, and I want to wish you, all of the KRIS TV viewers, a joyful and blessed day.
Always good to see Sheriff Hooper. We hope you have a great day as well. And folks, if you want to send us your own shout out video, scan the QR code on your screen or go to our website, christv.com.
Well, new data is set to be released today on job openings and labor turnover for the month of April. It's a snapshot in time for where the country's employment stands and gives us a better idea of how businesses are feeling about the economy. Back in March, U.S. job openings dropped sharply. There was also a drop in the number of layoffs, though, suggesting that the labor market remained on solid footing despite economic uncertainty. And for those of you currently on the job hunt, CCISD is hosting a hiring event tomorrow over the Carroll High School arena. That's from 9 a.m. to noon. So some of the job openings include teachers, substitute teachers, coaches, nurses, bus drivers, custodians, and cafeteria helpers. There's going to be an on-site interview area too. And hey, if you can't make it out there, there will be another hiring event on June 18th. That event will be at the Ray High School cafeteria.
All right, if you're getting ready to hit the roadways, what do you need to know? Well, this view, we like to call it the shaky camera. It's the First Community Bank camera. It lets us know when things are a little windy out this way. So for drivers who are going to be taking bridges and overpasses, such as the Harbor Bridge, you might be playing a little game of tug of war with the steering wheel. Slow your speed and take it easy as you head out over the bridge. It's a little windy along the coast, and we're looking at a smooth ride, so at least that's good for a Tuesday morning commute. No issues between Portland and downtown Corpus Christi, as you saw from that camera. Coming up, the crosstown interchange to 37. We have some activity, but we're looking good here. Otherwise, 3744 also looking like an easy ride on into town. Ocean Drive, SPID, Saratoga, and the rest of the crosstown is also looking smooth at this hour, and so is that commute to NAS Corpus Christi, which speeds up around 30 miles per hour. Flower Bluff in general is looking pretty good. Waldron Road, Flower Bluff Drive, of course, with school out. Not a whole lot going on there. And if you're taking that ride over the JFK Causeway up 361, you can expect an easy commute there too. So as you head out, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. Your forecast is ahead.
So we have some good news for all of you coffee drinkers out there. Middle-aged women with a regular coffee habit could be setting themselves up to live longer and healthier. A study looked at women in their 50s who drank 1 to 3 cups of caffeinated coffee a day, and it found they were more likely to reach older age free from major chronic diseases and with good cognitive, physical, and mental health. The conclusions are based on dietary data from more than 47,000 women who were part of the Nurses' Health Study. They were surveyed in middle age and followed for 30 years to understand their rates of death and disease. The study is observational, though, and that means it's limited in its ability to examine direct cause and effect.
All right, here's your forecast in a minute. We're looking pretty nice out here, but windy and humid across the coastal bend. So although golden hour is aesthetically pleasing, it's more so from inside in the air conditioning. So here's what you can expect heading out the door in your neighborhood. We've got some 80s on the map, y'all. These are actual air temperatures. It is feeling much warmer in those coastal neighborhoods because add a few degrees to those 80s and that's where your feels like temperature is standing. Now, it is humid out there, making even the upper 70s feel very warm. And because we have this wind, that's why our visibility isn't doing too bad. We're down to about 7 miles visibility in Beeville, 8 in Rockport. So give yourself some extra time before you head out the door, but the wind is at least helping in that regard. Now, it's a warm and humid southeast wind, so it's going to keep that feels like temperature on the up and up today. Temperatures will be warm even for this time of the year. Actual air temperatures in the low to middle 90s, but it's going to feel like the low to middle hundreds this afternoon. So make sure you're checking in on kids, pets, and the elderly. Our heat risk is a 2 out of 4 today, so moderate. Inland neighbors, though, 3 out of 4. Major heat risk shown here in red. So we need to make sure kids, pets, and the elderly are staying cool, and you too, because they're more prone to heat-related illness, and we're going to be dealing with a lot of heat this week. Check out the temperatures in both Rockport and Kingsville later this week. We're talking 97 on Friday in Kingsville, triple digits as we head on into next week, and even in Rockport, 90 for next week is warm. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast in Corpus Christi.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of nonstop news with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. We'll check in with meteorologist Stephanie Lauber in just a bit. But first, after months of debate, the measure to end the STAR test in Texas schools failed to pass. The state House and Senate were unable to agree to terms in a unified bill before the legislative session ended. Neighborhood News reporter Tyrese Boone spoke to Nancy Vera, who believes standardized tests can hinder students in and out of the classroom.
I think the STAR test is a farce because it doesn't test anything that will show whether a student is going to be successful in their lives or whether they're going to be happy in their lives. And in fact, I think it's a deterrent to true education.
Vera says that she and other educators will continue to lobby against the STAR test.
Another bill state legislators passed could ban students from using cell phones in Texas classrooms. It's known as House Bill 1481. The law would force Texas public and charter schools to take students' phones, tablets, smartwatches, and other devices for the full school day. The district would have to store the phones out of sight until the final bell rings. The Texas House and Senate passed the bill. It now goes to Governor Abbott's desk for final approval.
And a bill known as the Parental Bill of Rights has made its way to Governor Greg Abbott's desk. It focuses on giving parents more authority over what their children have access to while in school, while restricting others. The bill also targets discussions around gender and sexual identity, banning those types of clubs in schools. Neighborhood News reporter Adam Beam spoke with one local advocate who says it could pose a risk to Coastal Bend students.
For them not having that kind of resource, it's going to just bring a lot more probably angst and, like I said, mental health issues to them.
If signed, Senate Bill 12 will go into effect September 1st.
Alrighty, heading up and out the door. Well, this is the view of SPID. You know, not that busy right now. We're looking pretty good for 6:42 this morning. So what do you need to know before you hit the roadways? Well, probably team windows up today with all this humidity that we're starting the morning off with. We can see that haziness from this camera view, but otherwise we're looking good on a lot of the major roadways. We'll turn now to the ride in from the Island 361, Park Road 22, and the JFK Causeway, looking good. Into the Bluff, now we're starting to see some activity on Waldron Road. A little busy there, but we're used to that along that roadway this time of morning. Into town, all the major thoroughfares are rolling smoothly, including that ride up the crosstown toward the interchange with 37. No slowdowns to report right now. That's some good news. 37 and 44 both looking good, as is that ride over the Harbor Bridge between Portland and Corpus Christi. 181 is looking like a breeze. So as you head out this morning, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. Coming up in your forecast, we're talking about hot temperatures even for the start of June. I'll tell you when we could expect some rain in the forecast and where this trend is going coming up.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
All right, folks, here are the 6 things that you need to know before heading out the door.
Yeah, President Donald Trump's fight to fire federal employees is back at the Supreme Court. Administration officials have filed an emergency appeal to reverse a lower court's order. Last week's order blocked the administration's sweeping layoffs and major reorganization efforts at federal agencies. More than a dozen unions, nonprofits, and local governments are behind the lawsuit.
Well, Governor Greg Abbott was in San Antonio on Monday signing a bill that would establish a cyber command center based in the Alamo City. Abbott spoke about House Bill 150 and how the new center will serve as a line of defense against cyber attacks. In his State of the State address, Governor Abbott declared Texas Cyber Command as an emergency item for the 89th legislative session.
For those of you currently on the job hunt, CCISD is hosting a hiring event tomorrow at the Carroll High School Arena. It's from 9 a.m. to noon. Some of the job openings include teachers, substitute teachers, coaches, nurses, bus drivers, custodians, and cafeteria helpers. There will be on-site interviews, and if you can't make it, there will be another hiring event on June 18th. That event will be at the Ray High School cafeteria.
Well, a new Goodwill store is set to open up this week in the Bay Area between Staples and Everhart. The grand opening will be Thursday at 8:30 in the morning. Goodwill is offering prizes like free coffee and a Corpus Christi Hooks raffle for the first 100 guests.
The Corpus Christi Nueces County Public Health District's Satellite Clinic is open today at the Johnny Calderon building in Robstown. The Public Health Satellite Clinic provides no-cost services, including diabetes screening, blood pressure screening, and flu vaccines. It will be open from 9 a.m. to noon, and they close for lunch and open back up from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, call 361-826-7200.
Well, the city of Robstown, along with the Nueces County Emergency Management, will be hosting a hurricane preparedness town hall meeting and kit giveaway. It'll be Friday from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. over the Robstown City Hall. Officials will be on hand to answer any questions about hurricane preparedness and the evacuation process for Robstown. Robstown City Hall is located at 101 East Main Avenue.
Hey there, good morning to you. Giving you another great view around the coastal bend from the Wada Skycam here at Whataburger Field. We are looking at clouds that have been moving very quickly across the sky, and it's breezy for our coastal neighbors, but we're going to see mixing from the winds here at the ground level to those stronger winds up above, carrying the clouds away quickly. And so it's going to be a breezy day overall. Will that help with the heat? Well, let's talk about it. Right now, heading up and out the door, it is a warm start to your Taco Tuesday. Temperatures in those lower 80s along the coast, upper 70s inland. So it's air you can wear, very humid out there. And thankfully, because we have a bit of a breeze here, that is keeping visibility from being too problematic out there. Still, visibility as low as 7 miles in Beeville. You might want to slow down, give yourself some extra time to head up and out the door with this haziness. But let's take a closer look with the Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network in the Beeville neighborhood. Looking at temperatures that are sitting in those upper 70s, 76 off Hilltop Road, 77 from our Beeville site, and 78 off FM 504. In contrast to what we're seeing in the Kingsville neighborhood, 78 off Bishop Badger Meadowbrook, 79 for Southwest Kingsville and East County Road 2120. But add a few degrees to that because the humidity is making it feel very summer-like out there. And you need to keep that in mind when going for that dog walk today. Our star Max, well, he's chilling for now, but getting outside for that walk, more shorter but frequent walks are probably best because kids, pets, and the elderly are more susceptible to heat-related illness. And it's going to be a hot one today. Temperatures rising to the 90s as we get into the lunch hour. And so while it is going to be a warm one here, let's take into effect that humidity. As actual air temperatures reach the 90-degree mark around lunchtime, we are going to be feeling like the triple digits. So at about 5 to 10 degrees to the temperature, and that's how your body perceives it to be. So heat risk is going to be a 2 out of 4 for a lot of us today. It's a moderate heat risk, but inland neighbors in Live Oak, Jim Wells, Duval, McMillan counties are going to be a 3 out of 4. Major heat risk shown right there in red. And while we take a wide view of the big weather picture, not a whole lot going on for us here locally, but storms well north of us in central Texas, actually helping out in the watershed where we have extreme and exceptional drought. So we're not looking at rain chances here. There are some rain chances way up in the watershed. That helps a little bit, but we could really use some rainfall here over the next 7 days and throughout the summer. Doesn't look like we are going to see much for rainfall, but lots of heat. Kingsville, you're looking at triple digits as we head on into next week. And for Corpus Christi, we are going to heat up too. Temperatures are a few degrees above average for this time of the year. We'll top out in those middle to upper 90s heading into next week.
Thanks so much, Steph. So summer is upon us, folks, and we are all turning on our air conditioners. But you may not know, getting an AC unit could cost a lot more if you need a new one. Well, some are blaming it on tariffs, causing issues for contractors and for homeowners alike. Scripps News Group's Holly Pfeiffer explains.
Summer may not have officially started, but the heat is here. And we're firing up our air conditioners, the start of the busy season for HVAC companies like United Air Conditioning.
It's hot out, humid, people are calling, so it's started early this year for sure.
Replacing or repairing your air conditioner hasn't been cheap. And this year, don't expect that to change. Already high prices are meeting with tariffs and a changeover in efficiency standards. And for companies, that changeover has meant difficulties getting a new refrigerant for new units.
All of a sudden it was like, a couple weeks went by and then we started using it and then we're like, oh, order some more, and it wasn't available. That's when we were like, uh-oh. And then we started looking into it and asking around. Everybody was freaking out.
The new refrigerant called R454B significantly reduces greenhouse gas emissions. It's formulated for new systems to meet planned EPA requirements. But many workers are having trouble finding the gas and a harder time finding approved containers to transport it. Jerry Hardy, the vice president at United Air Conditioning in Largo, Florida, found a workaround.
2 of them are 100-pounders, 2 of them are 90-pounders. It's ridiculous. They're heavy. It's not ideal, but it worked out perfect for us because it saved us money on the gas, and then we just had to put a little bit of work into putting it in the containers.
But for smaller companies, a big tank is a major investment, leaving some to not have the refrigerant at all. One tech telling Scripps News Group in Buffalo,
right now, if I look to place an order direct with one of the manufacturers, they're saying that I might receive it in November or December.
In April, Honeywell, one of 2 companies that manufactures the refrigerant, sent a notice to its customers acknowledging the shortage and the impact of tariffs. Higher than expected demand and materials subject to tariffs mean a surcharge of 42% on every invoice after February. Honeywell declined to comment on the notice and surcharge, another cost that's passed down to customers.
People will hold on to their money too. They'll repair their systems more. They're more likely to fix it.
Holly Pfeiffer, Scripps News Group.
Figuring out summer travel plans can be a lot of work, and money can add up pretty quick with hotels, gas, food, activities. I'm Michaela Chavez, your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter downtown, with a look at some fun and low-cost activities and attractions that you can find right here at home. Welcome to the Gulf Coast capital.
We're excited that we get to live where many people want to vacation.
Also known as home.
We are very blessed to live in the Gulf Coast capital that offers a plethora of things to do.
And maybe you've heard the saying, home is what you make of it. So why not make it fun? Starting with the pool.
There are city pools with our partners at the city of Corpus Christi that are free this summer, because with this heat, you definitely need that.
You can make a splash for free at our local pools like West Goose, Oso, HEB, and the new Bill Wade Aquatic Center. If you're more of an observer by nature, then some local art might be more up your alley.
Even starting this Friday, you have Mural Fest by the Downtown Management District. And then every first Friday after that, there's Art Walk. So Art Walk is always a neat opportunity to come out, walk around, see vendors, hear some live music.
Mural Fest and Art Walk aren't the only free and family-friendly options that come around time and time again. There's also the Artesian Farmers Market every Wednesday evening at the Art Center downtown.
So that is outside. But then also for the 2 hours from 5 to 7, people can go inside and they have the free art classes, and they have several free art activities. So that can be a parent and me class.
For movie buffs, the Bay Jam and Cinema series also kicks off at Cole Park this Friday throughout the summer with free outdoor movies every Friday, starting with The Wild Robot on June 6th. Even if you have to pay, you're still saving money on travel and stay. And for sports lovers, we got the Corpus Christi Hooks.
Really enjoy Friday night fireworks, a good baseball game, and some awesome Whataburger, which is a Corpus Christi staple.
The list of activities and attractions goes on. Glow-in-the-dark kayaking, horseback riding, the Texas State Aquarium, and the Lexington.
We always want to encourage our locals to try these things so that when they have family in town, they can also let them know what to do and what to build their itinerary around.
To get more information on events, tours, guides, you can either swing by this building right behind me, the Corpus Christi Visitor Info Center, or you can scroll online at visitcorpuschristi.com. In downtown, I'm your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter, Michaela Chavez, Chris 6 Sunrise.
School is out and kids have more free time on their hands. I'm Stephanie Molina, your neighborhood news reporter in Robstown. Staff at the Nueces County Keach Family Library talked to me about the lots of summer activities the library is offering to the people in this community.
One option is going to the library and participating in the Summer Reading Challenge. As you accumulate points, you can win prizes like toys or even coupons from local businesses. Kids who complete the challenge will also get 2 free books. The Summer Reading Challenge is one of many summer activities the library will offer. They will also have art programs, gardening classes, and much more. You can sign up to get a library card by bringing in your Texas State ID at the library or registering online.
All right, here's a look at what's trending now. A Florida zoo now offers the opportunity to paint up close with an orangutan. The new guest experience is at Zoo Tampa at Lowry Park. For $100, your painting partner for an entire hour is a 25-year-old Borneo orangutan. Anyone ages 5 and up can sign up. Plus, you get to take your painting home. I definitely want to do this.
Yes, yeah, she's all about hanging out with the animals. So our 1-year anniversary, folks, is coming up. We're not going to be here starting up Friday because our anniversary is next week, but we're going on a little mini cruise and we're going to be swimming with some pigs. But I think painting with some orangutans might be on our list of go-tos as well.
Definitely. That would be so much fun.
Y'all are going to be in my hometown, so if you go to Zoo Miami, you can feed the giraffes. And this is like a personal conquest for me. I have never been able to feed the giraffes because the one time I made it to the front of the line, the giraffes were no longer hungry because so many people had fed them. And I was crushed, but a lot of cool things to do. Also, fun fact about Busch Gardens, I haven't been to Zoo Tampa, but Busch Gardens is there, and they kind of have like a zoo within the theme park too. So a lot of cool things you can do to enjoy all the wildlife back in my home state. But hope you guys are going to have some fun. This week's humidity, I think, is going to prepare you well for what to experience there.
Oh, good to know.
People always say, oh, you're from Florida, are you used to this heat? It's the temperature difference because it's way more humid there. But I don't know, this week we're giving it a run for its money. Y'all, it is a humid start to the morning, and it's warm too. Actually, our temperatures are warm for this time of the year. So giving you this view from our sky cam over at Sand Dollar City. Look at Old Glory waving there in the wind. It did freeze for a moment there, but there we go. We got that beautiful flag flowing in the wind, and boy, do we have a lot of it along the coast. So let's talk about how the weather's looking when you step up and out the door. Well, we are looking windy. That kind of helps us in a way today because it is so humid out there. If it weren't for this wind, we'd likely be dealing with some visibility issues on a more wide scale. But temperatures are in those lower 80s for coastal neighborhoods and the upper 70s for everywhere else. So it's air you can wear. And I wanted to show you this on a map to kind of talk about not only what the actual air temperature is, but how your body perceives it. So while we have the lower 80s on the coast, look at these feels like temperatures in yellow. We are feeling like 90 degrees in the Bluff, 91 in Port A, 89 degrees in Rockport. And while we're more true to temperature as you head away from the water, it is feeling warm, even by June standards. So, of course, we're going to be talking about heat risk as we go through this week, checking on kids, pets, and the elderly because they're more prone to heat-related illness. In our star today for the dog walking forecast, Max, yeah, we're hanging out inside. Frequent and shorter breaks are going to be your best bet, especially as our temperatures rise to those lower 90s during the early afternoon hours. Yes, there will be a breeze, but it's a warm and humid breeze from the southeast, and that is going to make for a feels-like temperature that sends us to the triple digits, and that's why we need to make sure we're being careful out there. Just make sure you're staying hydrated, take those breaks indoors in the AC, and if you work in an outdoor industry, hop in the work truck, run the AC for a few minutes. We've got a moderate heat risk today for most neighborhoods, major for the inland neighborhoods, and it only gets hotter from here, y'all. It is going to be a hot one. While we're looking at the big weather picture, while it's boring for us, there's some rain in the watershed, so that at least is some good news, but don't expect any rainfall here. We are looking at some very hot conditions across the coastal bend. That's going to send us to actual air temperatures in those middle to upper 90s for the end of the week, so increasing heat risk, of course, increasing humidity. It's going to be feeling pretty hot. So maybe we'll get a taste of that South Florida climate while y'all are gone because it's going to be an indoors kind of event, I think, for us here.
Thank you so much, Steph. Thank you for tuning in, folks. I hope you have a fantastic Taco Tuesday and an even better rest of your week.
Bye.